Look at this picture and try to count the number of gray dots you see. It's hard, isn't it? When you directly look at any given point on the graph, it is clear to see that it is white. However, you probably see black dots in your peripheral vision. Why is that? Well, in order for your brain to process daily activities at a reasonable speed, it needs to make some assumptions. Since your peripheral vision isn't nearly as sharp as your central vision, your brain tries to find patterns, and assumes those patterns continue on indefinitely. In this picture, your peripheral vision can see the gray lines, but not the white dots. So, your brain assumes that the gray lines continue on indefinitely, and the white dots simply don't exist. So, it fills them in with the color gray. This illusion was created by a psychologist named Lutimer Herman in the 1800s, and it proved that we assume on a daily basis. But it was after I began researching this topic that I found a TED Talk by a magician named Francis Minotti that really helped put into context how much we really do assume.
A child isn't born with the instinct that when a coin is placed into my hand, it continues to exist. You know that, you have object permanence. You know the coin's going to still be there. To a child pre-object permanence, that coin is out of sight, it's out of mind. I mean, we've spent our entire lives building up little assumptions about how the world works, and we need these assumptions for survival and sanity. Most of us don't walk around saying, worrying that gravity is going to suddenly stop or we're going to run out of air to breathe. We need those, and not having those assumptions would get in the way of how we function societally.
So, assumptions aren't always made beyond our control. Some have been inherited by our surroundings. Francis uses these wrong thoughts, such as object permanence, to his advantage as a magician. It lets him fool us by proving our brain's assumptions wrong. One of the assumptions that we've built over time is that if society says something is correct, then it must be correct. A YouTuber known as Lemino showed us how big a mistake this could be.
Okay, so a few weeks ago I stumbled upon a supposed fact. It goes like this. The average person annually swallows 8 spiders in their sleep. A quick search led me to an article on a website known as Snopes.com. Snopes is a website specializing in debunking urban legends, and most people seem to agree that it is a quite reputable source. In the article they claimed that the myth gained popularity in 1993 when a columnist by the name of Lisa Birgit Holst wrote an article titled "Reading is Believing" in a magazine known as PC Professional. I then quickly found a Reddit post demonstrating how the name Lisa Birgit Holst is an anagram for "This is a big troll." Unless we are to believe that this perfect anagram is just a random coincidence, it would mean that Snopes has written a meta-article about a made-up columnist who once wrote a made-up article about people's willingness to accept false claims as the truth, in order to expose people's willingness to accept false claims as the truth.
To show how prevalent this myth really is, I decided to interview a few people to see if, first, they have heard of it, and second, to see if they believe it's true. Their answers really surprised me. Of course there were a few no's, but there were a lot of yeses.
No, I never heard of that.
Okay, alright, thank you.
No.
Never heard that.
Never.
No.
Have you ever heard someone say that you swallow 8 spiders in your sleep annually?
I've heard people say that, but not to me.
Alright, well, do you think that's true?
Me? I have no idea, actually.
Do you know where you might have heard that before, besides friends?
On the internet, like, all the time.
So, if you were to guess how many spiders you eat in your sleep, what would your guess be annually?
Probably twice a year.
Have you ever heard someone say that you swallow 8 spiders in your sleep annually?
I have heard that fact, yeah.
Do you remember where you heard that?
It was just reading some like random facts website that I was shown by a friend.
Alright, so if you were to take a guess, how many spiders do you think you will eat annually?
Maybe like 2 to 3 at most. I don't think there's 8 spiders in a sleep. Yeah, I don't think so.
So tell me, have you ever heard someone say that you will swallow 8 spiders in your sleep annually?
Yes, I have.
Do you remember where you heard that?
Sophomore year from a teacher. Yes.
Alright, so do you think it's true?
I wouldn't doubt it. Yes, I believe it's true.
Alright, so if you were to guess a number, you would say you swallow 8 spiders annually in your sleep.
I'd say between 2 to 8, yes.
Okay, thank you. 8 spiders in your sleep annually.
I've heard 7.
Alright, so if you were to take a guess, how many spiders do you think you'll eat in your sleep annually?
8.
8? Okay. Say that you will swallow 8 spiders in your sleep annually.
I've heard 10.
So a few people haven't heard of it, but most have. And of the people who have heard of it, over half believe it to be true. Wow. And I think it all came from one false source. It spread because no one took the time to think, hey, maybe that might not be true. And if you look at where these believers receive their information, most found it on the internet. The internet is a great place where people can share anything they think of with everyone else. It is full of cats and crashes to chemistry and commercialism. But always remember that anyone can share so-called knowledge with absolutely nothing to back it up, and that can spread information like a virus. If we all take the time to look up a single source every once in a while, false information that we all believe to be true but isn't would be cut down drastically. And maybe, just maybe, we can make the world a smarter place. I'm Chris Lehman, signing off.